I bought 4 refurbished game consoles from Temu, and in this video we're gonna open them up, see what they look like on the outside, and then also check out the inside to see what they did to refurbish them. Let's start with the Nintendo Switch Lite. Now I paid $178.54 on Temu for this Switch Lite. On eBay they go for $100 to $150 refurbished. So if this one's good, it's not too bad of a deal. You can get them cheaper on eBay, but also eBay can be kind of sketchy. Unlike Temu. All right, here we go. Let's open it up and see what we got. I do feel a box, so that's good. The box is in not very good condition, but I mean, it is still a box. And let's see what we have. We have a Switch Lite. That's good. It does come with the charger. It looks to be in decent condition. It is the original Nintendo charger. Now for the console itself, it looks like there's a screen protector on this one, sort of. Let's see how this screen looks though. There's a few little marks on the screen, but I think that's actually just from the adhesive on that screen protector plastic. 0 scratches on the screen. That's impressive. The outside, there's a little mark right there, but really not too bad. Okay, let's open this thing up and see if they did anything to actually refurbish it or if they're just calling it that. I'm gonna use a Y00 to get these screws out. I'm gonna Phillips 00 to get the other screws out. Okay, all those screws came out fine. None of them were stripped or anything like that, so far I'm real happy with this. But let's see what happens when we remove this back case. Okay, and here we go. This button came off, but it is fine. Next, we'll remove this plate and see if there's anything going on under it. This looks pristine under here. I'm thinking they didn't actually do anything to refurbish it. That's just what they're calling it, but we'll see once we get this plate off. Okay, and here we go. Yep. This looks perfect inside. You can see how I put a fingerprint on this plate. There was none here before that. That tells me that this has never been removed before, and this is perfect inside. I'm gonna get this back together and then I'm gonna start it up and see if there are any problems with it. Okay, all back together, let's start it up. Power's on, good. It has been fully reset. I'm gonna go through the setup process and then we'll test the game and all the buttons. All the buttons work. So the game works just fine. Let's see if it charges. And it totally does. So the Switch Lite is a huge win. This thing is basically in perfect condition. While you could get a better price on eBay, the price is still decent, especially for what I got. Now let's move on and open the N64 and see what that one looks like. Okay, the controller. I mean, it's okay. It definitely is dirty. That's kind of gross, whatever's in there. But not too bad. It does come with a power supply, which is good. And it comes with a TV cable. Great. So this N64 is upgraded, so it'll play both USA and Japanese games. It gives you some tips for connecting it to your TV. And tells you to blow into your games and console. Don't blow into it. If it's not reading the games, that means your game pins and probably the connector inside the console just need to be cleaned. And here is the console. Door's a little bit miscolored, so they've likely replaced that. We've got a pretty big scratch right here. It's clean for the most part, which is nice. It's not in amazing condition, but I would say that's passable. Now, I paid $104.99 on Temu. On eBay, these go for $109 to $120 refurbished, so this is actually a pretty good price. Even though the console isn't in like amazing condition, I find it to be acceptable. But let's see if this thing works and then open it up and check out the inside. Okay, I've got it all hooked up using the power cord that came with it, as well as AV cable and the controller. I have a known good game I'm testing it with. Let's turn it on and see what happens. It was almost there. Okay, reseat the game. There we go. Okay, good so far. Let's take this thing apart and see what they did on the inside. And using this controller just a little bit, that analog stick really wobbles around, so not super happy with that, but still not a terrible deal. Most of these do that. I definitely wouldn't call the controller itself refurbished, but I think the console probably is. Let's find out for sure by opening it. Okay, last screw out. One thing I did just notice is this is actually a Japanese console. So that's why they modded it, because it's a Japanese console, but they wanted it to be able to play US games. Not totally sure how I feel about that, but I guess you're getting what you pay for. If you're buying an N64 to play games, then that's what you have. Okay, now the top should come off. Here we go. And there's the inside. Okay, it's a little gross here, but I mean, not too bad. You can tell it has been cleaned inside. At least somebody ran a rag through this thing. Let's get this metal plate off and have a look at the motherboard though. And with all those screws out, we can start taking the metal plates off and then get a look at the board. That's actually way dirtier than I thought it would be. There's like just dust bunnies all through here. That's crazy. So to mod this, all they did is replace this plastic tray with this 3D printed one, so you can fit both Japanese and US games in here. So they had this top cover off, and they didn't just clean all this dust out of here. That's crazy to me. Why would you not at least run a brush through, or at least some compressed air or something? I mean, at the end of the day, it is just dust, so it's not like the end of the world or a huge deal, but at the same time, if you're buying a refurbished console, they already have the top off. Might as well just do it. They were doing so good too. So I'm gonna do this part of the refurbishment process for them, since they couldn't take the time to do it. You can see they even wiped off down here and everything. I'm not sure why they wouldn't just... Oh, I know why, because they didn't take all the metal plates off. They didn't want to take all those screws out. That's why. It doesn't take that long to take a few screws out. While I'm here, I am just gonna clean this game card slot out. I'm not sure if they even did this, so I'm feeling a little better about that. I'm gonna do just a little bit more cleaning with a cotton bud, just because there's some of this stuff that is stuck on here a little bit more. Yeah, there's some more grossness in here. So I wanted to look under the microscope because I noticed these pins when I was cleaning this thing, and while it's not like they're totally corroded or anything, like this needs a little bit better cleaning than they gave it. I mean, these pins are almost connected with corrosion, almost shorting out right there. And then over here, we have a really similar thing going on. Look at this. I mean, that's starting to corrode, so let's give that a cleaning, get that all cleaned off. To be fair, this console still would have lasted a really long time without cleaning all this stuff off, but it's just like, you already had the cover off, people. You can see what causes this. Some of this gunk just kind of builds up and then probably collects moisture in here from doing things like blowing into it. I mean, I don't know if blowing into it would have gotten moisture all the way back here, but it certainly isn't gonna help. Okay, I'm gonna do the rest of this off camera. Okay, all back together. This one started out really well, and I feel like it kind of went downhill as we went. Even still though, I think it's at least an okay deal. I just wish they would have taken an extra 20 minutes to actually do a full cleaning on this. Well, let's move on to the OLED Switch. So I paid $282 for this OLED Nintendo Switch. You can find them on eBay from $200 to $250 refurbished. So that's maybe an okay deal, but it depends on how it looks. Now I have accidentally already opened this because it came in this box and it didn't say Temu on the outside. For anyone who doesn't know, Temu is a marketplace, so anyone can sign up to sell there. And this was just a random person. It was just a person's name on the label. So let's see what this person sold me. We've got a HDMI cable, got the AC adapter, genuine Nintendo, that's always nice. Here we've got the Joy-Cons and the two wrist straps. These are really in not too bad a condition. Next, we have the dock. Packaged pretty nicely. Okay, that looks pretty good. There's some scuffing on it, but really not too bad. Now, I will say that in the listing, it showed the Switch inside the retail box. This definitely doesn't have that. I'm not too upset about it because who really cares? But also, if you show it in a retail box, that's gonna make people think that's what they're getting when it gets there. So now let's take a look at the tablet itself. And here we are. Okay, that's not bad. Pretty hard to tell on camera. We do have a few light scratches, but it's consistent with what I would expect for a refurbished or used console. Okay, let's turn this thing on and see if it works now. Nintendo logo, that's good. It has been reset. Joy-Cons feel pretty good. This side's a little loose, but not bad. Okay, I'm gonna get this set up and then we'll test all the buttons. And setup is complete. We've got a low battery. Probably not a big deal. And game shows up. Good so far. Let's test all the buttons. Okay, all good so far. Okay, no drift on that stick. Yeah, that stick also was good. Now I will say this thumbstick is very worn out. You can see this edge is just, there's not an edge there. So, I mean, there's definitely some wear there. But overall, this console's in decent condition. Let's see if it shows up on the TV though when it's docked. Black screen, good, and there we go. So it does dock. So we know this Switch works great. Let's take it apart and see if they did anything on the inside. So we got some tri-wings on the back right here. It looks like there's some marks on these screws, so I'm guessing this has been taken apart before. I don't really see any marks on these screws though, so maybe it hasn't been taken apart. Okay, and back cover is now off. This all looks really good so far. I'm gonna get this metal plate off and then we can see the board. All right, with that metal plate loose with all the screws out, I mean, except for this one. The thing with this metal plate too, just like the other Switch we looked at, this one doesn't have any fingerprints or any evidence of anyone taking it off. So I think this is probably basically a brand new OLED Switch. Got to remove this antenna wire down here. There we go. Now the rest of this will just pull right up. Inside looks pristine, and underneath that plate, the motherboard looks perfect. No evidence of any work being done on the board. So this Switch also has not had any repair work done to it. They're just marketing it as refurbished, when as far as I can tell, it's just used, but in pretty good condition. The only problem I really see with this is on that thumbstick that was a little bit worn away. Other than that, this is in great condition. So it's a little bit higher price than you can find on eBay, but also it's in pretty good condition. Now let's move on to the PlayStation 5. And console number 4, the PlayStation 5 that I paid $427 for. On eBay, you can find them refurbished for between $370 and $419. Let's see if we got a good deal or if we got ripped off. And this box I have not opened before. We've got the stand, we've got some cables, interesting power cable. This HDMI cable, I'm not convinced that's very good. It's got like a little bump right there. I mean, it's probably fine, but not the best. And here's the controller. Let's see how worn out this is. Okay, not bad actually. It looks like it's got replaced thumbsticks. So that's cool. And here is the console. Looks like it was packaged okay at least. And the front cover looks really nice. It's almost perfect. Let's look at the back. Oh, we've got a sticker on here. That's interesting. Wonder if that's because this is all scratched up. Either way, it looks nice. And the back looks pretty good as well. We got a couple marks here, but this really looks good so far. But did they actually open it and do anything to refurbish it? Let's find out. And you can see immediately that they have not opened this. That can be good and bad. That means there probably wasn't ever anything wrong with it. The unfortunate part is that likely the liquid metal in this has a dry spot on the APU. So let's get it torn down and check that out, because whenever I resell it, I don't want to have that dry spot happening, because that can cause the console to overheat and just turn off on its own. Okay, so I'm gonna remove these cables, get these screws and the fan shield as well as the fan out, remove this cover, and then we can remove all the screws around the edge of the PlayStation 5. Then we can get the disk drive out and then the metal plate, and then we can check out the liquid metal. So this is the other thing I was wondering about. We got some hair and debris right in here. It'll be interesting to see if that heatsink is clogged up at all, but that can cause a problem as well. Not too much hair, but I mean, some. Okay, now we got to get the disk drive, the rest of the screws out of this plate, and then we can check it out. And the last screw is out. Let's get the metal plate off. Almost the last screw is out. There we go. Now let's get the metal plate off. Okay, all normal so far. Then we take the clamp off along with the spacer. Then we can remove the board after I disconnect this ribbon cable, of course. And let's see the liquid metal. That is actually the best I've seen in a long time. This thing must have like never been played before. That's crazy. Okay, so not too bad. There's a little bit of a dry spot there, but really not bad at all. One other thing I need to check is whether the power supply has dirty vents, because that can also lead to overheating. I need to remove this bottom plate to do that, so we'll do that next and check it out. And now we can remove this plate and see how it looks underneath. Okay, these heat sinks are clean. That's not bad at all. And here we have, the power supply isn't too bad. Definitely is a little bit dirty though. Yeah, we got some issues there. So I'm gonna give this a good cleaning, and that will prevent any future overheating of the power supply. So inside, this actually wasn't that bad. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse, especially the liquid metal, when really it was pretty good. So I'm gonna get this back together. Let's see if it'll start up and show up on our TV. And one of the things I did notice when I was putting this together is this antenna is just kind of sitting here flopping around. The little clips that keep it there, one of them is broken off, so it's just kind of floating around here. That's not like a huge thing. It's not like that's gonna cause any major issues, but it also could make it rattle around or something in there. So I don't think it'll affect how it works, but we'll find out here in a minute. And all back together. Let's test it. Okay, power on. I hear the fan spinning up, that's good. Will we get anything on the screen though? Black screen. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so far so good. Let's test it with the disc. Sounds like it's spinning up. Okay, and there we go. So this PS5, I would say, is in decent condition and really not too bad of a deal. You can get them cheaper on eBay, but it's not like eBay has the best track record either. So for all 4 of the consoles we bought on Temu, they all worked, and most of them are in pretty decent condition. I can't say that I'm 100% happy with all of them, but it's at least as good, if not better, than what you can find at GameStop or at DK Oldies. Speaking of DK Oldies, if you want to see a video where I bought some of their refurbished items, I'll put a link for that video up on your screen now, so you can come hang out with me over there and see how their items look. Thanks so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.